let's get on to actor. And this is one where The Brutalist is a clear favorite due to Adrian Brody, who and one of my favorite actors, I will say. And this is an interesting. So I'll start us off here because I like Timothee Chalamet at plus 150. He's about 32% on KALSHI. Brody's at 67%. So two-man race, essentially. And there's a lot of history and trends at play here that I don't think they're going to influence the voters, but it's not out of the question. But Chalamet, if he won here, he would actually dethrone Adrian Brody as the youngest winner of this award. However, there's some things going to get a lot going against him too. Brody, essentially was on his way to sweeping until Chalamet wins the SAG Award, which was the most recent. So at the same time, the SAG Award is on a 3-year winning streak of predicting the eventual Oscar winner. But then counterpoint to that, it's pretty much unheard of to only win the SAG and not have won any of those other awards. So it's just one of those kind of weird, another one of these weird situations. But I do sense that The Brutalist could be on somewhat of a Amelia Perez type, fall here, because we are kind of seeing the signs, with just like, I know Timothée Chalamet was great. I think he is deserving of the award, but it's like Brody had all the momentum, and it just the SAG is, it should have been a foregone conclusion, and it wasn't. So that just kind of has my eyebrows raised. And shout out to our guy Collin Wilson, who has done a bunch of these with me as well, with us, as well. He was telling me that the one Oscar bet I had to make, he was telling me this last July, was Timothée Chalamet in this Dylan flick. So no matter what is going to happen, I have to bet Chalamet everywhere. I've already max bet him everywhere. The odds are pretty fair. It's not a major edge here, and I think you're going to kind of talk about that, but I do think there is enough smoke here with The Brutalist kind of trending downward, and Brody maybe being a victim of that. And also, Chalamet was just really good in his role. So rolling with Chalamet here as that, about plus 150 you could get him at on normal odds, about 32% on KALSHI. What are your thoughts, Collin?
I started laughing. I had to stifle some laughter there a little bit through, because I didn't know this. You mentioned Collin Wilson telling you 6 months ago to bet Chalamet. Yep. That's because I told Collin Wilson to bet Chalamet 6 months ago.
Oh my goodness. You Collins, man. You just what? Like, come on.
I texted him.
Communicate better here. No,
yeah,
either way,
I know.
Point taken. Yeah. I did, but I mean, you or he or whoever it was make great points.
I just have a vivid memory.
Figure, there's a lot of reasons. So why don't you kind of talk about it? I know you're kind of waiting for a certain number, but make the case for Chalamet here.
Yeah. So I saw this coming back in the summer, just not to toot my own horn, but they rushed this. They rushed this film to come out in 2024. In July, I was all over Colman Domingo for Sing Sing. That seemed like the perfect Oscar movie. The Brutalist wasn't really on my radar yet. And then I'm blanking on the production company for A Complete Unknown. They announced in July that A Complete Unknown's coming out this year, and it's coming out on Christmas Day. And I go, oh my God, they think they have a piece of Oscar bait on their hands. They think that they're going to get Timmy a gold statue. So, they didn't come out with odds that second, but I was like, he's going to be up there among the contenders come showtime. And sure enough, here he is. Now, this played out exactly like I thought it was going to. And I bought in on KALSHI on Brody probably around when Oscar nominations came out. I bought him at 56%. And what I expected to happen was that Brody would clean up most of the precursor awards. But I was very confident that the SAG would go to Timothée Chalamet. Because Timothée Chalamet is your quintessential, geeky theater kid that his fellow actors love. Like he's like the male Emma Stone. You see Emma Stone winning all these awards because
hey, no, let's not go that far. I hold
this
Emma
is not
Stone, like Emma
criticism.
Stone is like on the Mount Rushmore with like 3 more Emma Stones to me. Like you cannot.
These are do not take these as criticisms. I
Stone,
love
like,
both
like
actors.
you can't don't do
Um,
that.
but so my whole idea was I was going to cash out on Brody right before the SAGs at KALSHI. He was at around 80% of the showtime, but I got greedy. I was like, nah, Brody might win the SAGs. I'm going to hang on to this. He didn't. Chalamet was won. I was right, but then I was wrong. So I'm sitting on this Adrian Brody position, and I'm just going to ride it out and see if he wins. All that said, I do think that there is a pathway here to Chalamet winning. I do wish the odds were a little bit longer. I wish I had bet him before the freaking SAG Awards, like I thought I was going to, like I wanted to. You mentioned the difference between the SAG and the Oscars, the fact that the SAG is on a 3-year winning streak in predicting the Oscars. It goes back even further than that. Only twice since 2004 have the SAG and the Academy picked a different Best Actor. It was 2020, famously. Chadwick Boseman was awarded posthumously by the Screen Actors Guild. Everyone thought he was going to get coronated at the Academy as well. They went with Anthony Hopkins instead.
One of the greatest Oscar moments of all time, too. Like,
yeah,
obviously not, no disrespect.
They closed the freaking show with it,
just like the chaos. The chaos of it all, which is like,
and it was the
by the way, Hopkins. All right, we're out. Bye.
Yeah, and it was the COVID year. They weren't in the Dolby Theater. Yeah. It was a fucking mess. And then 2016 was the other. The SAG went with Denzel Washington. The Academy awarded Casey Affleck. So it's possible. But yeah,
what you're telling me is definitely fade Collin Domingo.
Yes.
Might have to cut that one out, Matt. But
yeah, the SAG obviously carries the most weight. The SAG carries the most weight in all of the Oscars because it's the biggest voting body among all Oscars voters. There's more actors than there are camera operators and directors. So I like Chalamet. If I had no position going into Sunday on this, I would be betting Chalamet 100% for sure. Wish it were a little longer. I will say that there's a different way to approach this, and it's via one of the exotic markets that is currently offered at FanDuel. They're offering over under 4.5 first-time Oscar winners among the director and actor awards. So that's five categories: director, Best Actor and Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Supporting Actress. Over under 4.5. That basically is just a bet on Best Actor. Best Director is guaranteed to go to a first-time winner, Baker or Corbett. Best Actress, which we're going to talk about in a minute, Demi Moore or Mikey Madison, both first-timers. And then the two runaway favorites in the supporting actors are both first-timers. So if you're betting over 4.5 first-time winners, you're betting on Chalamet. If you're betting under 4.5, you're betting on Brody. So over 4.5 is plus 105. Under 4.5 is minus 165. And so if you're looking to make money on Adrian Brody, if you think he's going to win this award, you go with the under, because minus 165 for under 4.5 is a bet on Brody when Brody's sitting in the minus 210 or longer range. So if you like Brody, bet that market if it's available to you. I personally am not going to have any extra stake on this award because of my previous stakes, but Chalamet is the value play here because of the momentum off the SAG win. And again, the fact that he's a darling of the Academy. I think that they love him. They want to give him his award finally. Brody already has one. So yeah, Chalamet plus money is probably the way to go.
Yeah, and I think there's been years where I've ended up on, some of the chalk, and I just haven't liked it as much. I do think that these kind of betting these kind of markets generally lends itself toward just finding the value on those underdogs, even if the true odds don't line up exactly, or maybe you're only showing like a 1% or 2% edge or something like that, because if you're doing it consistently, you do know there are going to be probably 5 or 6 upsets, scattered through, and you're unlikely to just keep go over whatever, because these are there is a very good case for, I think, a lot of these I guess underdogs, so to speak. So that's the way I've been approaching this award season. I think there's maybe like one or two, I think a director and maybe one other one, really the only ones where I found myself going with anyone that is juiced up, past even money or whatever not.